Well, we just heard from the startups as to how they are planning to disrupt future landscapes and the ecosystem of mobility. So it's my pleasure now to have Kelvin Tay, Managing Director of Future Mobility at Goldbell Group and advisor to the CEO, in the studio with me. Now, Kelvin, we just heard from the startups. The writing is on the wall. Startups like the other four will be disrupting and shaping the ecosystems of tomorrow. What will it take to succeed then in tomorrow's highly disrupted and volatile ecosystems?
Well, let me start off with a quote from my boss's, our CEO's previous speech. It's time to build. And venture building is something which Goldbell believes very strongly in. Our CEO has a strategy for venture building to create the new revenue growth drivers for Goldbell. I would say that even whoever you are, if you're a corporate, if you're an SME, if you are a startup, there's no better time to build a technology company in the future of mobility. There are boundless opportunities in different verticals within the mobility space, and all of them require some form of technology. And for us, we have quite a number of venture-built companies from xSquare, our autonomous forklift startup, from the acquisition of BlueSG, which we see as a venture build. In this case, it's an acquisition of an existing company, and then we inject the technology. In some cases, it is building the technology from scratch, as with SWAT Mobility, as well as xSquare. So there's never been a better time to get into this business and to get a piece of the action in the next couple of decades for the future of mobility. So do start building, whatever business you're in, start building.
Right. So how exactly do you, now building upon what Arthur and Alex shared earlier, how exactly does Goldbell help your venture-built businesses to succeed? Perhaps could you give us a few examples across your four currently in the portfolio?
Yes, I think the key thing here is talent. Right? And in particular, tech talent. So once you've figured out the space that you want to get into, the domain, your domain expertise comes in, and you say you want to solve a problem. The key issue that you will be facing is how are you going to find people to build the technology? Where are you going to find those data scientists, algorithm specialists, and other kinds of experts to put the technology in place so that you can fulfill your dream of disrupting a particular sector. And we have quite a lot of experience doing this. We have done it about 3 times so far. I think our very first experience was Arthur's experience in building up SWAT Mobility, where he had to create a team of engineers to solve the pickup delivery time window problem. It's an age-old problem, but the people who solved it in the past were not looking at the future, of autonomous and the future of how to get people from one place to the other with the least amount of assets in the shortest period of time. So with all these challenges, he needed to put in place a technology team, right? So that's something which we have a lot of experience in. So that's one example. The other example is in xSquare, where we had to build an autonomous stack entirely from scratch to enable our forklifts to move autonomously, right? And for BlueSG, as my CEO has mentioned earlier on, we are looking to put in real-time optimization technologies so that we can place the vehicles at the points where customers need them before they even know that they need them, right? So to do all these things, you need to source globally for talent. We feel that in Singapore we have extraordinary technology talent, but to build a full team of Singaporeans from day one is a big challenge. So what we do is we supplement them with the use of remote engineers from all over the world. So we have some talent sources in Eastern Europe, some in Southeast Asia. It's very important to blend these engineers, the engineering team from the remote offices with the local office, so that we can actually go to the market very quickly, right? And once we go to the market, then there's a need to do knowledge transfer from the team that's overseas to the team that's in Singapore. And for us, usually, the one running the show in Singapore is usually a Singaporean or Singaporean PR. because that's where the stable base of talent is. But Singaporeans are pretty picky, so during the startup phase, it's good to be able to have a mix. And once the business becomes successful, they will be more than willing to join the team and to lead the team. So I would say that technology talent is something that is extremely important when looking at venture building businesses. And we use this to help ourselves. And as my CEO alluded to earlier on, we are hoping to also use our knowledge of how to use remote engineers, how to find the best deep tech talent from around the world to help the startups in MoveSG, to actually grow.
I suppose this is where Cube 3, which is what Arthur and Alex shared earlier, comes in, matching them to those talents in those overseas hubs.
That is correct.
I'm curious, talents, matching the right technical competencies is one thing, but making sure the fit is right and good is another. How do you ensure that?
Yes, so this is a challenge that, we ourselves face, continually, right? How do we ensure that it is the right fit? But I think for us, the Goldbell culture has come in very handy here, where from day one, we are very honest and frank with the people that join our team, as to what are the risks of being in the business, what stage we are at, what are the difficulties that we may be going through. And with that, we weed out, the talent the impatient talent, I would call it, who come in and expect to earn $1 million from day one, and we have people who are really sincere about growing themselves, growing their careers, growing their experiences, and being part of the exciting journey that we have for them. Venture building is definitely not for the faint-hearted. And building a technology company comes with lots of ups and downs and exciting experiences. So I think it's very important to identify the right kind of talent in terms of what they're looking for, the stage that they are at in their career. And with that, we are able to retain the key talents that drive, all these venture-built businesses.
I think it's not just about fit within the tech talents and the startup founders, but also their fit as venture-built businesses within Goldbell's larger portfolio and that direction. Really going long-term based on trust, as we kept hearing from earlier on.
That's correct.
Now, I wanted to take a different tack. Goldbell seems to be, of course, Goldbell is originally in a very traditional business. Distribution, leasing of commercial and industrial vehicles. Now you're trying to do a lot of automation. I know that you're also concurrently on the board of Xiaoxin Machines xSquare. How do you get traditional business proprietors to incorporate things like automated guided vehicles, automated warehousing solutions? That change management, tell us how you do that.
Well, I think firstly, it's not about change management. I think it's about segregating tasks and knowing how to make the best use of your knowledge and the talent. So, Xiaoxin is a very good example. How Xiaoxin was formed was we had a general manager of our forklift leasing and distribution business. He was sourcing for products to distribute from all over the world. And he realized that the existing products available, they are one, too expensive. Two, they do not meet Asian warehousing needs. And in particular, they couldn't work very well in narrow aisle spaces, which is a very common feature in Asia. So what we did was we took his domain expertise, and then we started validating it, with our investments in a lot of technology businesses all over the world, and we validated that gap, and we said to ourselves that, look, it seems that there is a trend globally for warehouses, especially in Europe and US, to become intelligent warehouses, right? And Goldbell for the longest time, actually, we have been supplying so-called technology in the form of forklift, in the form of industrial equipment, but that was 40 years ago, right? And now the time is ripe when autonomous technology has reached a certain stage of maturity and is ready to be applied in controlled environments like warehouses, right? And putting the two together, what we did was we moved Keith, who is the general manager for our leasing business in the forklift area, into Xiaoxin Machines to head up the product and sales and run the operations. And then we put together a separate technology team. So we marry the strong domain knowledge and experience and context we have in the warehousing domain with brand new deep tech talent. And we combine the two into one, right? And I think today the team in Xiaoxin Machines is very international. So our CTO is from Germany. Our key engineers are Singaporean. We have a team of Russian deep tech engineers as well. We have Vietnamese. So it's basically 3 or 4 countries, and we're putting together all the different capabilities. So I think when a traditional business wants to venture build, it's very important to combine the domain knowledge that you have, but it's unrealistic to expect that you can get your existing business owners to build technology businesses on their own. So they need some help, right? And the help would come in the form of deep tech talent who look at the ideas fresh, who look at the industry fresh, and they start building solutions, taking instruction from the domain experts on where the gaps actually are and what the customers actually want, right? So I think this is quite important, and this is something which many traditional SMEs and traditional businesses, I believe, are very well positioned to do because they know their customers best, right? And the technology is ready, right? So it's just a matter of putting the two together.
So it really sounds like if there's an SME proprietor listening out there and they know their business in and out, but they're not familiar with tech, there's nothing to fear because they can come straight to you, and you almost have a ready-made team of talents to help them, of course, after understanding how their business actually works.
Exactly. So we really like to invite any startups who are in the mobility space, as well as corporates who are keen to innovate in the mobility space. Please come to us. We can work together in a variety of ways as business partners, as technology partners, etc.
And of course, on the financing side as well.
And as well as on the financing, that's right.
Now, earlier, Alex, a phrase kept sticking in my mind: giving startups the depth to scale. Now, we all know that a lot of companies, startups that start in Singapore, especially by Singaporean founders, sometimes we have a very cushy mindset. We barely think about the region, much less the world. How do you actually help them break free of that mindset?
Okay, firstly, we have quite a lot of experience scaling overseas on both the traditional business and the technology businesses front and the venture build businesses. So today, SWOT is already in 7 countries, right? So I think getting into international markets is a function of finding good local partners and understanding the lay of the land, so to speak, within that particular country. So we can definitely help. So we have 2 or 3 generations of connections in the Asia-Pacific region, especially in Southeast Asia. Right. We have experience building technology businesses there. We have very strong corporate partner base in the accelerator in MoveSG, who can connect us to literally almost any continent in the world, any country in the world. But of course, we are strongest in the Asia-Pacific region. So, at Goldbell, we always believe we only invest in what we know. We only invest where we know. And I think the Asia-Pacific region is quite a reasonably sized playground for us to start with.
Many of us would say so. So I guess the whole adage about, even though we're talking about tech, it's not what you know, but really who you know. That still rings true as well when we're talking about venture-built businesses today.
Yes, and I think we are very fortunate to have very strong corporate partners who are with us in MoveSG to join us on this journey. So, we have Capital Land, Shell, another energy giant joining very soon, yes. ComfortDelGro, SMRT, Continental. Right, I think we don't think we can do everything ourselves in this journey, and we are very fortunate, to have, and we did a lot of hard work to also build these connections, which allow us to literally go to almost any country in the Asia-Pacific region.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Kelvin. So if I hear you to sum it up, 3 big takeaways really. First is, if you're an SME, you want to leapfrog and move to the next stage, fear not, come to them. They have a tech team ready to help you, all that you need. Secondly, it's always about lasting the long haul, knowing your domain expertise, and of course, localizing your solutions accordingly. and bringing your partners with you for the long haul.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. I learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Romy.